I'm in this beautiful location on the Chatu Game Reserve, up in these rocks, looking for a hyrax. And a hyrax is looks like a rodent, looks like a marmot, but their closest related relative, strangely enough, is an elephant. These rock hyrax are everywhere in this area, and what makes them hard to find is they're the same color as the rocks around them. Again, they're about shoebox size, the adults are. They move really quick, they're really agile, they can move in and out of these rocks, but they're really camouflaged too, and so it makes it hard to see. And so what I do when I come into an area like this and not knowing what I'll see is, you may have seen on an earlier video where I recommend just moving to an area and sit still for a while and be quiet, and you'll start seeing them. Like right now I see a baby looking back at me, and there's an adult nearby, and then there's another adult, and there's one down low. So they've seen me, I'm looking at them, and so in order to get good shots of them, I've got to close the distance. But how do I do that? Well, I use a technique I learned time ago, and that is, when you first see something, take a safety shot of it and then wait. And then as the animal gets used to you, just move a little bit closer, you know, whatever the animal tolerates, and watch its body language. I may move on these hyrax, I may move up about another 5 yards, 15 feet, and see how they tolerate me. And then if they let me take a picture, I'll wait there a little bit longer. And then over time, I can move inch slower and closer and closer and closer and closer. Each time I'm taking pictures along the way, and each time I'm getting my safety shot, where in the end, hopefully, I'll get a close distance away and be able to get the shot I want. Now, these hyrax right now, at least the one down low, is in a good spot. The sun, it's about 3 o'clock right now, and the sun is high overhead, and so it's not the best lighting I can make it do, but I've got one down low that's in a shadow, and the lighting is nice and even around him, and I'm going to make a play for him and see what I can do. When I was walking up on him, I got about as close as he wanted me to him. I actually stepped on a rock and made a little bit of a noise inadvertently, and it spooked him back, but he didn't spook much because I see him coming back out of his hole. He's staring back at me right now, so I'm going to try to get a couple more shots of him, and then I've got a little cover between me and him I can move behind and see if I can't close the distance and get really close to him. But this is a fun way to shoot pictures of wildlife, spot and stalk. You have a lot of hits and a lot of misses, but when you get the hits, they're usually pretty good. So I've already got a couple of good shots of this guy, and looking back, I hear one calling at me. I see 2 or 3 in the rocks. I'm just going to stay out here for a little while longer and see if I can get some more cool shots of them, and see what happens. That was fun. It turned out great. In the end, I followed my own advice. I took a picture or two, waited just a little bit, moved up a little closer, took a couple more pictures, waited just a bit, moved up closer. And the rig I'm using is a Canon 500mm f4 lens. It's an old version, so it's heavy, and I'm hand holding it up in these rocks, and it's not the best. So what I usually like to do is try to rest it against a rock or any kind of support I can. But in the end, he let me get maybe 5-6 yards away from him, so I got some full frame shots of him, and it looked really great. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm going to stay out here a little while longer. We're going to launch out on the safari drive here in a minute, but this area with all these rocks is beautiful, and I'm going to see what other kind of critters I can find out here.